I have something a little bit different here. So you can see I've got a few devices. I've been asked to fix these. We'll get into it, but I've got a few things I need to check. So to start with, I've got two devices to fix. Right, this is the actual timers here. There's time interfaces. You see me doing videos showing me units the same as this when I've been doing my project. Now these are not the ones I've been using. These are from different clubs. They're actually two different clubs, incidentally. I noticed I was walking past today. I went to go and do something with this timer to go and check it out, and noticed the antenna just fell off when I picked it up. It's actually been broken off. So that's one job I've got to do, but I can't do that until I get the part. I've ordered the part. It's still stuck into the antenna there. And apparently they knew about it. It's been broken for ages, but they hadn't got around to getting it fixed. So I left a note on it saying, I can fix it for you if you let me know. Anyway, they came to me later on and said, yeah, sure, please fix it for us. So I've ordered a part in, and I'm going to replace this antenna jack. Because normally these would have to be sent back to the USA to be repaired. There's at least one person I know of that is their agent, and he deals with all the repair stuff and sends stuff back as required. Just by chance, I fell across this thing and said, it's a pretty simple fix. So instead of having to go back to America, I could just fix this, pretty easily. So yeah, we'll get stuck into it. So this particular timer's had a bit of a hard life. I mean, people think these things are waterproof because they're used outside, but they're not waterproof. So you've got a big gap around here for a start, which is not waterproof. The edge around the screens are not waterproof. Obviously the keypad part is, but that's the only bit that is. They're not actually waterproof cases. So this one has had a bit of a hard life, and water has got in there. You can see it's got like green mould within the display. And also when I first started looking at this thing, I picked it up and just noticed that by touching, even just touching gently just over here or over here, it was distorting the screen. You get the LCD artifacts, if you're touching the screen like this, you see that sort of artifact like that. I was getting it just by touching over here. So this is actually pressing against the screen, and it's actually got some damage in it. The liquid crystals leached through a little bit, so there's nothing I can do about that. The manufacturer would have to replace the screen, but this is an old unit, so I don't know if that'll actually happen. And it's also got rusting around this screen here. This metal frame's all rusted. It's had a hard life. It's got wet, and it's not good for it. There was some corrosion inside, which I've already cleaned off. But anyway, we'll open it up and we'll get stuck into it. So first things first, let's get the battery pack out, get the batteries out. Just put those to one side. Now I've got to undo these screws here. Now what I did to stop the screen being pushed against the fascia plate, inside the unit there's some O-rings around the posts, and there's actually two O-rings on each post. So what I did is I shifted one O-ring to the other side of the board. Maybe that's where they're supposed to be. I actually don't know. This isn't something I normally work on. Maybe there's supposed to be two O-rings in there, one each side. Maybe they're supposed to both be on the same side. I really have no idea. But I moved it to the other side of the board so that the board is sandwiched by O-rings, and that has meant that the LCD screen is then not being pressed against the front panel. So there's the O-rings here, which I've put onto this side of the PCB to sandwich it. So I'll take those back out. They were both on the top side before, so it is sitting lower in the casing and obviously making it press against the screen. So let's lift this out. Now this could be tricky because it's got, here we go, those bits there. And there's the flex, which you've got to be careful of, so you've got to unplug that really gently. Don't want to damage that. So there's the O-rings I put on the top side here, on those posts, to make sure it sits off a little bit. Like I said, there was some corrosion in here. I did clean some off already. There was some around here. I gave it a bit of a clean. I think there was a couple of little bits around as well, but it's obviously had water getting. That's right, it's on this chip here. On the legs of this IC over here, there was some corrosion on those, so I've given that a clean off already. And there was some over here by the crystal, so I've given it a bit of a polish up. This J2 is corroded. It may or may not matter. It seems to be intact anyway. So yeah, but the fact that you've got water in there, not a good thing. I haven't spotted any other corrosion yet, so have a close look at the camera. Is the switch corroded? Maybe it's just dirty. Ironically, these sockets in here are exactly the same sockets as I'm using in my project, which plugs into these sockets. So that's quite funny. Just out of pure coincidence, I happen to get the same parts. Yeah, you can see it's got an LCD screen there, and obviously this other one here. And that's on a daughter board, which is kind of, I think it's soldered straight on. I don't think that can be unplugged. I'm pretty sure it's soldered on. There's no flex in those connectors, so yeah, there's probably soldered on. And you actually see at this side of the screen here, and then you can see that indent. You can see there's like a circular indent just here. See that? It was actually resting on the sounder. So it's sandwiching it's squashing on the back of the screen here. So something else I did is I went around really carefully and just lifted the screen up very slightly off of these pins to take the pressure off that as well, because that was also distorting it. That's causing artifacts on the screen as well. So basically, either someone's been in at some point and pulled it apart and put it back together wrong. Who knows how long ago, because this is quite an old unit, this one. 2005 this one's dated. So it's 15 years old, potentially. It's got 2004 daughter board. So sometimes life could be pulled apart and put together wrong, or it was just made wrong. I really don't know. Obviously, because of the casing was pushing on that display there and squashing it down, it's pressing into here and causing all kinds of problems. So yeah, not good. But I've had a little look underneath there. It looks kind of alright. There's a metal casing under there. You can see it's like a shielded can under there. All I'm going to do is try and get this antenna connector off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit this with some hot solder. Just some, obviously hot solder. I'm going to use cold solder, am I? I'm going to use some leaded solder. This could be unleaded solder in here, I'm not sure. But I use some leaded solder in here. Sometimes pins might even just fall out. I've also got my desoldering gun here ready, so I can even use that to suck those pins out, maybe. So I've got my soldering on already. Let's get some leaded solder in here and see if we can pop those out. They might even just fall out, like I say. If it's loose, yeah, that's going to go, I think. Let's remelt it and try and push it through. Come on, remelt. Right, this one pin's dropped straight out. That's good. We'll try and do it all of them if we can. It kind of drops, it's went through. There we go, it's dropped out. And the centre pin could be harder. Because it might not actually go through, it might have to be pulled out. Let's just melt it and have a look. No, it's dropping. Cool. That's dropped out as well. Great. That was easy. Now let's just get my desoldering gun to clean the holes out. Sometimes you just need to put more on. Hopefully the lighting's not too bad in this, you can see what I'm doing alright. This is the part which is going to be going in from RS. That's the part number and everything there. If you need to replace the same part on your unit, then this is the part number from RS Components, and that's the manufacturer part number. You can get these from China as well. I got this locally because I wanted it faster, or rather I needed it faster. It costs a lot more getting it from a main provider like this, from RS or something like that. It costs more, you pay more for them, but you get them quicker. This was urgent, this has to be working by this weekend. So yeah. Alright, let's see if it'll drop in. Moment of truth. Do I have to desolder the other holes as well? Oh no, look at that, straight in, no problem at all, dead easy. So that's great. So what I'll do is I'll stick this upside down and sit it on that connector. That should rest on it, yes it will, and then I can solder that in place. Make sure it's worded right down to the board hard. If it's got any clearances, it will potentially break the circuit traces if it gets any stress put on the antenna. I'm going to use silver solder for this one, rather than the one I used previously. This was just a 1.2mm, but it's leaded solder. It's got really good flux in it, but it leaves a lot of residue behind. This is my silver solder, which is better quality. So I'm going to use this one because I want it to last. So I should be able to get to those back pins, so I'll do the front ones first. I'll get one pin soldered, then I'll push it down, make sure it's definitely bedded down properly. Alright, do that with it. Make sure it's definitely flat. Keeps the heat on so it can flow through. So I want it to flow through to the other side of the board as well. Alright, so it should be pretty good there. Then we'll do the next pin. I'm probably slightly in the way of the soldering on, aren't I? Anyway, just make sure again it's still pressed down. Right, so look at the other side. Try and see if it's flowed through. Can't really tell, but it probably has. Now getting to the back pins is a little bit harder, but I can get in there. So I can still get in there like that. I can still reach just. I didn't want to pull the thing apart because that would be, well, a bit of a nightmare really trying to pull it apart. So trying to get that top board off. Something to be designed to come off. Come on, get in there. Plenty of heat, plenty of solder. I'm probably putting too much solder on. I do tend to do that because I'm relying on it flowing through the board. I'm trying to get it to flow through and heat up that whole connector as well. Alright, so I probably am putting too much on. I do tend to do that. In fact, I think I can see I've definitely got too much on that one. Let's take a bit off. Just want a nice fillet on there. Well, this one here's got a bit too much on it as well. The very first one I did. And I'll probably stick some flux on this as well afterwards and just clean them up a bit better too. Alright, let's get onto the back pen. I'm doing a bit of an awkward angle so hopefully the camera can see it. Come on. Maybe we've messed that one. That's not right. I think flux is almost going to be certainly required for this. I mean, obviously there's flux in the solder itself. Okay, that's a pretty good fillet on actually. I'm quite happy with that one. Now we'll do the centre pin. And if we're lucky, the thing will actually work. But I can't test it because I don't have all the poles and everything for it. I don't have all that. I've only got the timer itself. So I don't want to put too much heat on this because I don't want to melt the Teflon inside the connector. Alright, so just do a couple of little pulses of it, just like that. And you get a nice fillet on there. So I'm not completely happy with that front one there, but it looks a bit much. Let's put some flux on. I probably should have done it at the start with already. And we'll just touch these up a little bit. I'm just not completely happy with them. And we'll just reflow it with flux on there. And that should be a little bit nicer then. And the centre pin as well. Should give us some nicer joints at the end of it. Okay, it would have actually thrown through the board a little bit easier if I put flux on to start with too. But anyway, it's done. I'm pretty sure that's good. All the connections are actually on the back of the board anyway, so the antenna connector actually runs up that way. Don't think you can see it in the lighting. Maybe you can. Might just be able to get it in there. There you go, and just see it there. Runs backwards. So anyway, let's give that a clean up, and that should be fixed. Okay, so what I just did then is before I recorded is I just soaked up most of the flux with a piece of cloth, the little disposable white things I used just to soak the worst of it up. You can see it's all just coloured there, maybe you can see it. That's what it's soaked up. So then the alcohol's got this to have to try and get rid of. And then we'll do the same again with another wipe and try and get rid of all the residue. The problem with adding flux is that, you know, then it gets messy. You know, so it's necessary though. Sometimes, I mean, it just gives a nicer result. I should have put flux on before I started soldering, really, to get it through the board a bit easier. But anyway, here we go. That's cleaned up on that side. That looks pretty good. Let's look at the top. There's probably some flux on that side. Yes, there is. Flux flow through. So we'll give us a clean as well this side. Got to be careful not to get it on display. And my hand's in the way, isn't it? Of course it is. Alright. One new connector. Looking good. Yeah, let's have a close look at this, make sure it looks like it's soldered nicely. Should be able to see solder on the side. Maybe just a little bit. Be hard to do this rotating the board and keeping the focus at the same time. You can see a little bit there. So that's good. Shouldn't be any bridges on it underneath. I don't think I'll be able to see under there though. So you can see solders flow through. So I'll check for a short just to make sure there's no bridges. Because you definitely don't want that. It's probably fine, but I just want to be short. Right. Mig ohms, yeah, that's fine, no problem there. That's all good. So that should be fixed. So where I mentioned before there's rust on this screen, I'll show you that in a bit more detail. So I mean it's all rusty where it's got wet. Yeah, not good. Okay, let's put this thing back together now. Now with the antenna connector in place, it's actually harder to put these things back together because of the way it all sort of interlocks. Let's try and get this flex back in. Switch up here you've got to get through. Right, so we'll get that through first. Then you've got these sockets up here, then you've got the antenna connector to get through as well. So it's all a bit fiddly trying to get it all lined up. So you've got to sort of tip it down and swing it around at the same time. Because otherwise you can't get the antenna connector through. You know, you can't see what I'm doing. Alright, so it's a bit of a fiddly thing to get right. You've got to sort of get it in like that and then sort of swing it around, and there you go, that's antenna connector through, switch through, I'm going to put those through and it's in. You see it's pressing on here. It'll probably be wrong to get the casing screwed down, but you can see it's getting those artifacts on there. You know, it's not good. I'm actually tempted to relieve these sockets a little bit because they're actually pulling it down. They're pushing it up rather, they're leaving against it. I've already enlarged these holes very slightly, just to slot them very slightly so it sits a bit lower. That's also helped. It's not really enough, I don't think. It's still a bit dodgy there, you know. So I might do a bit more. Still pressing on them. So if I might even just desolder these pins a little bit and just let it drop. So I've resoldered these. I just heated them up a little bit and just put a little bit of pressure on the board over here to straighten it out, and just let the sockets drop down naturally. And they're now a bit less, and it's less of a problem with artifacts on the screen now pushing there. It's still getting a little bit, but it's much better. So it's much less stress on that board, which is great. So now I can put this thing back together. I need to put these O-rings back in first. Put those back in. Okay. Right, screws. I'll put the batteries in, put the antenna on. Now the thing with these is that these are potentially transmitters, right? So these are transceivers that are inside these. So mostly they do reception, but they can also send wireless data as well to a scoreboard. So potentially that antenna being off could have damaged the transceiver because it might damage the transmitter section. I've got no way of knowing this, at least not right now. So we'll put the batteries in. Even these battery holders are bent, look, they're all bent upwards. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be more down like this. All bent upwards like this, been yanked out. I think so. It's an old unit, I don't think it's been taken care of particularly well. Anyway, we'll get it back together and we'll turn it on. Make sure the switch is turned off, it is. Because you're not supposed to have no antenna on it when it's powered up, but they were using it that way. They just shoved the thing back in the hole and said, yeah, it's going, and no, it's not. Alright, so get the antenna, screw it down onto there, and power it up. And we're all good to go. So hopefully that's all that's wrong with it. Yeah. I mean, this screen has really seen better days. It's really not great. See the artifacts on there a little bit. It's really needs a contrast bringing down a bit on this. You know, you've got the drive, so you can actually like change the biosing on the screen. This needs the same thing, but there's no adjustment for it. Not I can see anyway. So anyway, it's working. That much of it is. Whether it's actually working, I really don't know. I don't have the light poles here, so I can't actually trigger it with the light poles and make sure it's all transmitting and receiving well enough and that sort of stuff. I've done my part, I've fixed it. Hopefully that's the only damage that occurred, is that antenna being ripped off and hasn't blown the transceiver, because that'd be a bit inconvenient. So if you found it interesting, please give us a thumbs up. Very important, give us a thumbs up. Have a comment down below, have a chat. I'd like to hear what people think, you know, discussions, that sort of thing. If you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe, click the bell icon if you don't already have that clicked, to make sure you get notifications about new videos. And although it's a little bit of a different repair, it's something a bit unusual. Instead of test gear, it's timing equipment. I fix what I get given to me. So there you go. Buy some merch too. I've got the merch shelf down the bottom there. You can get shirts and mugs and singlets and bits and pieces and socks. I think I might have socks in there. Anyway, catch you later. Bye.